What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Rising Legacies podcast. My name is Sonny Bales. I will be your host. I made this podcast to tell local stories of overcoming the odds, stories that could really impact those in our lives and our communities by showing that we're all human and we're all learning as we go. Stories that could really allow those legacies to rise. So in this episode, I get the honor and the privilege to interview Michael Aubrey. We had some technical difficulties. We only recorded about half of our conversation where we really went deep. I wanted to share what we had still and do a part one and part two. This is going to be part one of the interview with Michael Aubrey. Let's dive in, and I'll see you on the other side.
I love it here. I love it here. I love it here.
What's up, everybody? Welcome. This is the Rising Legacies podcast. Got Michael Aubrey here with me today. If you don't know who he is, he's down here at Hair Company, and I think he's brought kind of a little bit of flavor to us here in Coos County as far as the way hairstyling, haircutting goes. Regularly get my haircut by him, but I think the cool part about it is that really I've been getting my haircut obviously since I was a kid at just basic barbershops. Like what we know around here, at least as a barbershop,
right?
Or what I knew. But I think it's more of an art form, and to be able to see that in you, I knew just like right away when I first met you that there was not only something different about the way that you cut hair as more of an art form, but also that there was just something different about you as an individual. So, if you would tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Okay. Mike, I like to cut hair. I feel like what he was talking about, the whole expressive thing, like to me it's giving you something that you want, and like you don't always get that everywhere you go, and especially like good moments. And like people have always been my strong suit, like comfort zones, whatever, and being able to apply myself and my personality in like possibly uncomfortable situations with people has always been like my go-to. Like you give me 5 minutes, I promise you're not going to hate me. But I mean, it's just people are natural to me, and like being able to take a creative form, whether it was pouring a drink or drawing things, to cutting hair. Yeah. I get to do what I love to do, meet somebody new, create a new relationship, and like that just takes it off from there. Like, so the more passionate I am about the relationship, I can guarantee that there's going to be more passion in the haircut that I'm going to give you. Like we're going to build a bond through that, and like I think everything just illuminates. Yeah. At that point, it grows to like you love it more. Yeah. Than you probably would with somebody who just sat behind you, cut your hair, and said, "Have a good day." Like I'm trying to like understand you, know you. How's your day going? Like what happened? I remember things, and like that to me is important. I want somebody to remember everything that has to do with my life, because like, hey, I'm in the spotlight every day with me. Like sometimes you're not in the spotlight, you get lost in it, and like it's nice to be noticed. It's like when you come down and sit with me for 20 minutes, whether you're this tall and crying or 60 years old and you don't even know how you got here. Like, I want to know about your day, and I want to make you feel like you're in spotlight, because that's where the passion and creativity come from, because I can see you. Yeah. And then what, like a haircut can totally turn your day around, and you feel like when you walk out of here, you're in spotlight. Yeah. Yeah.
Dude, that's so much more. And I never even thought about it in that way until you just said it, but it makes so much sense to me when you're really, truly talking about connecting with people, because I think a lot of us, even in our day-to-day lives, whether you're, like you said, you're this tall or you're 60 years old, one thing that we don't have the opportunity of is, like you said, being in the spotlight or maybe being seen or being heard or being actually listened to. Like for somebody to just be able to hold space for you as an individual, be able to talk to you, appreciate you, but also simultaneously you're giving them a piece of something as well. It's like
So to be able to connect in that way, I never thought about that, but it makes sense too, because like even tattoos, like you said, drawing something.
Yeah.
Any tattoo that I've ever gotten, the best tattoos I always thought were with the best tattoo artists that I could connect with, because there's a relationship there. And I think you're right. Is the passion comes through in the art form, dude. It's a transfer of energy,
100%.
and that's beautiful. That's
Because,
so
like,
well said.
You got a big ego. I don't want you touching me because that's not the story I want to give out.
Right.
Like, I want to have a relationship with the people that provide me a service.
Yeah.
That are like going to influence my life, going to make me feel up here instead of like, oh yeah, I know, like this tattoo looks really great. Yeah, well the guy was a jerk.
Right.
What else would I say? I'd say, yeah, he's great, but like as a person to person, like it's not there.
Yeah.
So like you're gonna have like a subpar time. You're gonna get what you want, but are you really gonna be filled when you leave?
Yeah.
And like that to me in any experience, you want to be full, not a half cup.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like relationship is like the foundation of everything. I mean, and like I said, you could suck at making a drink. I could pour you a beer. Anybody can pour you a beer.
Yeah.
The foam's no different. The glass is the same chilled, but the smile and the conversation, whether it's 10 seconds or 10 minutes, goes the distance. It could last you all night. It could last you all week.
Right.
So I mean, I think like that for me, that pays me more than the money that gets put in my pocket.
Yeah, 100%. I love
And
that.
then the money comes after.
Yeah.
You know, like you as a person, people aren't paying. Like they pay for your product, your end result, but like they feel full. Like I was saying, like their wallet's not light and empty. Like they're like, okay, that was an investment. Like I'm gonna come back. I feel good about this.
Yeah.
Like I look good. I feel good. Like that's what we all want in the end of the day.
Right.
You know.
Right. Yeah.
Dealing with some asshole.
That's all right.
That goes a lot.
That's all right.
Dealing with some jerk. Yeah, it's like you don't want that on you. You don't want to be known for that. It's like walking in and getting something nice, like a Walmart haircut, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Like buddies of mine, Walmart haircuts, and like it's cheap, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't feel good.
Yeah, you almost forgot that you got it.
Yeah.
Too. It's like
Yeah, and then you call me a few days later and you say come fix it up. And
Oh,
you're like, yeah, I did the same thing.
Yeah.
Except you're happy. Yeah.
But that's true. And one more thing on that too that you said that just resonated with me is like it's about relationships, because I think we do, and a lot of the times it's easy to forget that we live in such a world of relativity. We not only know ourselves through relativity and relating with other people, but they also know themselves through relativity and relating to us or their day-to-day life in the world. So it's like those small things that we don't even think about. Like you said, it could be a 20-minute conversation. 20-minute conversation, but the impact that you get to have on that person's life, in that small amount of time, and what that could do for them. Maybe it's not just filling their cup, but then they walk out the door, they see somebody they don't know, they fill their cup, and so on and so forth, and it goes down the line.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's ultimately more beneficial than, like you said, whatever monetary gain that you may potentially get from it, which is a byproduct anyways.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's like that overall ability to be of service and have an impact and just come from a place of it's a selfish selflessness in a way, is the way I always like to put it. That you're really just here to provide a service. You're really just here to have an impact.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Absolutely.
Very cool. So tell me a little bit about, I know you said pour a drink, and I remember you told me about that before, which we didn't really get into that yet. So a little bit about how you kind of got started just cutting hair and everything, and what took you at least down the path that you're on right now.
Well, I started working in bars. Always been really good, like I said, natural with talking to people, whether they wanted to approach me or not. I don't really care about how I look or how you look or whatever. Like, I mean, to a point, like I watch my P's and Q's and how close I get, but like I still interact with you as if, like you had something like maybe I needed to hear or whatever. Like I'm very open to what could be. I started working in bars. I met a lot of faces, like people that I would have never spoke to. I had good conversations with, and I'm giving them something that everybody else gets. It's not hard, but like I have expanded my relationships in all these different areas of people and groups and like places that like it's nice to like know that I'm like you're wanted. And, you know, it's that, like I said, that spotlight feel. So like pouring drinks, you know, I was working in bars for like probably 5-6 years, whether it was the door or pouring one, and two different zones: people who really don't like you and people who really like you. Yeah. I don't know. It's just like the talking came natural. The ability to give somebody something other than what they're here to buy became like I don't know, like a normal. Like I was getting paid to just talk to somebody,
Yeah.
and I wasn't really focused on the job. I was just doing me.
Right.
Like this is who I am, and like I'm telling you, the money came in way better than the like. Here's what you want. Have a good day, and then cut it short because I'd started like that, and it wasn't profitable to me, and I wasn't honestly like feeling that great. Like you'd get negative feedback. Like
Right.
this guy was just doing his job,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm done doing it that way.
It's more monotonous. I mean,
Yeah.
you're just going to work to just go through the motions. And
Yeah,
it's
exactly. And like a lot of my bosses that I've worked for wanted it that way. Like be personable, but do your job and like stay in that realm. You got to be professional. I was like, well, what's professional? Because like me, like shutting somebody down in the middle of a conversation while I'm, you know, pouring them a drink and I spend an extra 10 seconds with them went way further. I'll walk down the street and I'll get a high five and be like, dude, what's up? And I don't remember who you are. But I'm like, oh, I probably like had a good moment with this person doing whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
And then that would travel and that would travel. And then bosses would start to see that or like whatever and maybe be like, okay, you know, like we want you to float around now instead and like take orders and do drinking and this and that. And I'm like, sick. Like I'm gonna get to like I shed a little light in a situation they weren't used to, and it gave me the opportunity to do what I really want to do.
Yeah.
Because like without people, there's no profit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're broke.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right, so people's my thing. Let's go out and do it. So I started doing that, and then I started branching out to like we had this barber shop next to the bar I worked at, and I had buddies in there cutting, and I was like, this is sick. And they'd come in and this and that, and their clients would come in, and I'm chit chatting with them. I'm like, this is the same thing. Instead of pouring a drink, I'm gonna cut your hair, or maybe I'll do both.
Yeah.
I do both now.
Yeah.
But like, it was so easy. So I was like, man, I really don't like working for these people. My bosses, like, granted they were nice and whatnot, but I learned a lot of what not to do. And I was like, I'm gonna be my own boss. And in this trade, I can do that. I can be my own boss. I can control the situation. I treat my clients the way I want to treat them, and I know they should be treated. And in return, like everything came my way. So, I mean, why not step out and do it? And it was kind of hard because like financially, it's a lot to just like go to school and then try and maintain your life.
Right. Just take the lead.
Yeah, like I got to work full time, but I also got to go to school and bust this out. Like there's a lot going into it. Did wildland for a little bit.
During the process.
Yeah, broke my back for a while. I took the money instead of like blowing it on something that's stupid. I invested it into school.
Yeah.
Spent all my money on school, and I'd work nights from like 6 to 2 a.m., 3 a.m. on weekends, and then I'd work. I mean, I'd go to school from what it was like 9 to 5. So that means I was up at 8 getting ready, prepping my stuff, and Sunday was my me day. I had one day for me to get my life ready for the next week, and I was tired.
Okay.
But I mean, like, it was enough for me. The unhappiness and the control from the management side to like being able to be my own boss
Yeah.
gave me that push to like, it's not forever.
Yeah.
It's gonna be okay. Like, do it.
So real quick, do you remember, because I like defining moments, do you remember if there was a defining moment between the I'm working for somebody else to I'm going to work for myself?
Yeah, it was a great moment.
You wanted to share that?
Yeah. So I got a call from somebody, you know, from work, and I'm in there and I'm doing my thing on a pretty decent night. And one of the coworkers calls me and says, hey, you know, like I overheard this from the boss saying like this and that, they're going to get rid of you. And I was like, really? So I picked my phone up and I called my boss. And I go, hey, so I hear this. You guys planning on getting rid of me, or you just want to like what's the situation?
Right.
They're like, well, we just don't like the way you're handling conversations with us. And I was like, well, can you elaborate into those things? Because like we only had one conversation, and it was regarding like you guys not doing your part as an owner. Like everybody here, I've never had complaints. If you have a complaint, you can show me, and they're, well, we don't have complaints about you. It's more of a you and me thing. And I was like, cool. So you're going to get rid of me because you don't like the way you and I communicate, but you won't communicate with me.
Right.
I was like, so you're actually just going to get rid of me for no reason. I was like, well, you should probably do it.
Yeah.
If you're like, because if this isn't working, like I'm unhappy too. So if you can fix that problem between you and I, we can continue business. And I hated the fact that like they're holding something over me,
Right.
over something that they think is a problem when nobody else has a problem.
Right.
Staying late, never been late. You know what I'm saying? Like always the go-to. Like, hey, can you fix this? Hey, can you come in? Hey, can you like stay till 4 a.m. and help get everything ready? Like, yeah, absolutely. Yes, that's my job. I want to do that. Let me help. But you can't turn around and have a conversation with me. So I said, I don't want to do that. And he's all, well, we'll talk. And I was like, no, I'm done talking. I was like, check the camera out. And then he looks over the cameras. I'm watching him. I'm like, cool. And I took my keys out. I put them on the counter. I said, I quit. And I put my phone down and I walked out and then never went back.
That's
like I was done.
Just putting the keys on the table.
I was done, bro. They saw it and I waved to that camera as I walked out and they're calling me like, hey, come back. Like, where are you going? And I was like I'm serious, buddy.
Yeah. And you knew at that moment, like it clicked. You're like, all right, now I'm on a trajectory.
Yeah. So I stopped working and I was like, I always had work. Always. That was the first time I never had like a job for like, it was like a month. I focused solely on finishing school out as hard as I could. Like time to grind down and make sure like I get this right.
Right.
Going up to testing was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. Like most people don't pass everything first round.
Yeah.
Never missed a day, never missed a moment, never missed a beat. Made it happen, went up, passed it. I did it all by myself. Like I was like, crushed it. Exactly. It was like right on. So I know this is going to be profitable for me. It's going to work.
Yeah.
The second I was done, I already had people saying, hey, come work. Like,
that you were done with the bar?
Yep, I was done with the bar. Like I had a bar job lined up right after and I was like, no, I'm good. Like within days.
Yeah.
They knew I was not doing it. Come work in some way. I took that break for a little bit, finished school, and then I went back to work at another bar, just working door. Wasn't exactly what I wanted to do, but I still got to talk. And I built relationships there. And like, even though I wasn't cutting hair, primarily super busy, that became an avenue while I was down there just starting to be able to like, hey, you know, like I heard you cut hair. Like, you're a cool guy. I like talking to you. And I'm just standing at the door doing my job. Like, what's up? Yeah. Like, they wanted just that conversation. I'm like, yeah, I cut hair. And they're like, oh, cool. And I'm like, I'm kind of new at it. And they're like, oh, well, let's do it. Let's do it, bro. Like, love to see you. And then it wasn't even about getting a haircut. It was the fact that they liked me.
Yeah.
So I was like, cool. Gave me a haircut and it got better and better and better. And then they stuck with me. And then like it spreads. And like, I just like, that's the profit I'm talking about. Not like, I don't even know this person. I begin to learn them. I give them something they want. They're getting like this relationship from me. Then they say to somebody else and it keeps growing and growing. And my contacts just, I mean, and then you never know what somebody has to offer you. Right. So like this guy I never met could be like, wow, I love you as a person. I love what you gave me. We just met. Like, I'm going to continue to see you. And guess what? Like, I want you to, you know, come work a personal bar for me. I've done that. Yeah. You know, I've done weddings, like bigger opportunities, and there I met more people, and like my craft and my personality and this and that like opens more doors to me than any like education or anything would have. Like you can't learn how to treat people like in a school at least. Like you don't get book smart. It's like therapists and stuff. I think you lose how to talk to people naturally, and you go by the book, you miss everything.
It's more of a dogmatic approach. It's very structured.
Yeah, instead of like being able to just break down and relate to their level, they like sit here and expect the person to heal and get to their level of understanding. And instead, you gotta like, I'm like down here with you.
Right. Like, meanwhile, you're missing.
Yeah, bro. I get homeless people that come in getting a drink from a bar, and they'll, you know, like I gotta like I gotta basically become that level. Like sometimes they don't want to talk, and I'll nudge them here and there. I'm like, hey man, what's up? How you doing? How's your day? Like they'll talk to me like, oh man, like I had the sickest day. Yeah. I was like, what's the sickest day? Like I woke up and this guy gave me like $10 for a sandwich or whatever, and I'm like, dude, that's sick. What did you get?
Yeah.
Like, where'd you go? Because I got a sick place, like
Yeah.
great sandwich, and it's probably like half the price. And we just start like that one conversation. Guess what? He come back,
Yeah.
and he had money for a beer this time. You know, like,
yeah.
and guess what? That one person is still going to come back day in and day out, whether they got $1. Like, that's a new customer for the business, and that's a new like loyal client for me. So it's like,
I think it's so much less about what you do for people and more about how you make them feel. I mean, that's something that I just see carried on through the whole everything.
It's through everything. It's everything with me. It's and anybody you could ask, they're gonna say like, what's your go-to? What's your thing? And I was like, people are my thing.
Yeah,
100%. It's not a product. It's the people.
See, and I can tell that right away, dude. That's like, I don't know. I think it's just in some people, I guess. But like even that first day that you cut my hair and I sent you like that. The Vix video, I'm like, dude, this guy's on your vibe right here. Like, it's totally, it makes sense.
Like, I want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
If I can.
Yeah.
Like, if I don't like you, there's probably a reason.
Yeah.
I'd love to fix that or like find out what it is, but like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Not everybody's like meant to be in each other's lives, if at least not forever.
Yeah.
So like, I'm like, I can be a friend and like I'm down.
Yeah.
Like, I love that. Like, I like kicking it, and like I'm learning something new. You're showing me something different. Like, you're blowing my mind. Like, that's that life I want to live.
Love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so really quick, let me jump back. So with the bar thing, so one thing I was thinking about that, based off of even what you were saying as far as being in the spotlight, and this is, I don't know, something that I've even thought about too, which is like, you're so good with people, you're super punctual, you're an awesome worker and everything, but it's like it was just that communication between you and them that really caused that split in the first place, which was almost, I mean, you know, now that it happened for you and not to you, maybe you didn't know that in the moment until you decided to make that decision and go the other direction. But what I was thinking, it was like, man, talk about like not being seen, not being heard. It's like, you're like, well, I'm doing all this stuff and I'm being me, but that's not good enough for you guys. So it's like, you know, obviously I have the ability to make these decisions too.
Yeah.
You know, and so then you get that opportunity and that shift to go in another direction. And one of the things I was going to ask was, do you feel like when you finally decided to take that leap, or when it just kind of happened in that way and you moved in that direction and set that intention, it sounds like it did, but do you feel like opportunities started to open up more? Like, because I believe like when we clear out space for things, when we clear out that energy, the things that have been holding us back in a way maybe that we don't even notice, that opportunities start to arise and kind of show up in our lives.
So when I was talking about like relating to somebody or like, you know, like giving somebody the opportunity in a sense of like to feel better, I feel like for me, I know I have a light, you know, like I have a constant light. I've built that over time, like enough to like always be walking around and I can shine it in some way. It's a matter of like sharing that spotlight. It's like, I feel like that's my job. It's not like me doing whatever I'm doing and then like cool and I keep it with me. I'm sharing a light to somebody else who needs a little bit more. They feel like when they leave, they got the spotlight.
Yeah.
And like I said, like you were saying, that person's now going to leave me. I've given a little bit of light to them. They're going to go have a conversation with somebody that's going to like, their days change, whatever's going on, they're feeling good. And then bam, like they feel compelled to like give a little bit of the light.
Yeah.
You know, the spotlight is transferable. We don't always have to keep it or shut it off. Like, keep it moving, keep it on, keep it burning, like whatever you got to do. But I think that is like the biggest factor in everything is the sharing of the light. Because I mean, I don't want to be in it all the time. It's tiring. Sometimes I want to be left alone.
No, I agree.
You know what I'm saying, dude? Like you don't want to be out in the lot like all the time. Maybe you're having a bad day. You really want to be like, hey, how you doing? My day sucks. Like I don't want to talk to you by this car. Like that's not gonna work. Sometimes you just want to like go out there, roll out, have a conversation. And guess what? That was enough to like draw them in. And like that sold the car itself. You didn't even have to like do anything.
Right.
You're just being you and chilling. And now they leave and they drive the car, and somebody goes, "Dang, where'd you get that?" Well, my buddy, he sold me this thing.
Yeah.
And you go, "Oh, okay." Then the next thing you know, they're showing up in your lot, and like you're doing another. It's just transferable. I mean, that's what we got to be doing.
Well, that's what I found too. Is like it's like the more real that I can be, the more authentic, the more raw. We're all human. We all experience human emotions, and the more that I can connect somebody, it's almost like you said, like maybe it's a homeless person or something like that. It's like you're connecting on somebody else's level. We all have that whole gamut of human emotions that we can kind of connect through. So it's like, man, like when I went through my shoulder surgery and I was down, like it showed, and I just told people straight up, like this is kind of what's going on right now, but I'm here and I'm here to be of service in the best way possible. But I've found that I think kind of in your analogy of the light, which I've often used, a similar one as well, is like I feel like my job, other than being of service, or what I get to do, is consistently find ways to uncover my own light, because it gets covered and it gets shrouded by things that are happening. So it's like, okay, how can I peel back that layer and allow a little bit more light to come through?
Yeah,
because light doesn't always look like, in my opinion, it doesn't always look like positivity. It doesn't always look like, sometimes it just looks like embracing your total authenticity and your totality.
Life gets heavy.
Yeah.
It dims out.
Yeah.
Like you start to burn out a little bit. I mean, that right there, like if I'm having a bad day, dude, you're probably you're gonna be able to see it. Like I'm gonna keep it together enough to make sure like you're comfortable where you're at. But like I've had days where I'm like, I'm giving you a nice cut, and I'm like, whatever. Like I don't take a picture of it. Like like it looks good. We know it looks good, and then have a great day. Like And then there's days you'll roll in here, and I'm just like basically picking you up from the door, putting you in the chair with it. I'm like let us do it, bro. Like tell me about your whole life.
Right. I'm fired up.
I've been done with the haircut for 10 minutes, but tell me about everything. like you have those days, and like it's kind of nice though to like I was saying, when you shed that light, like it lightens it up on you. Like you kind of like, okay, I'm getting it off. I'm giving it to somebody else to like take for a little bit. I'm recharging.
Yeah.
And I think that's super important, because like those people who are those like go-tos for that have to talk to people all day, that have to work in the public all day. That's tough. Like people suck. They do. Yeah. They're great. I love them, but there's a lot of stuff going on, and it sucks. Yeah. I don't want to hear it all the time. I don't want to hear you complain. I don't want to hear the negativity, because a lot of people only focus on the negative.
Right.
And like in working with people, like I know I don't expect people to like just be like rainbows and butterflies and it's great, and like I'm not feeling weighed down by it, because like they're looking at me for not only like to perfect how they feel and look, but now it's kind of like they want an answer from me,
some form of validation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, old buddy, you couldn't pay me enough to give you that. Like I'm like, I don't want to do that. I just want to I want to listen to you, and hopefully you just figure it out,
right?
Because I'm giving you some sort of like direction and feeling for the day. Like I'm giving you what you want. I'm hoping I can fulfill that part, and if I can't give you a verbal explanation, at least hopefully that you will come to a realization that like this is the answer,
right?
And you can walk out the door and carry on your way.
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist,
no,
but I like I said, I can talk to people.
But I mean, I think we all have that innate capacity, anyways. Like you said, even just holding space for somebody to allow them to, empathy. And allow them to just kind of for the answer to arise within themselves, or at least leave feeling some form of impact, or feeling a little bit better that could totally change the trajectory of the rest of their day,
right?
And potentially their life. Who knows?
Absolutely.
It just could be from the smallest little things. Yeah. So, all right, a little bit off that. So let's go. So you're not from here. We didn't even get into that. You're not from here.
No.
But so getting into you just started to cut hair, and then take us a little bit further down the path to where we're at now.
Okay. Born in Sacramento, military baby. Grew up real strict. Those corners were always tucked tight. Moved up to my grandparents. Grandparents took care of me for quite some time in Grants Pass. Pretty much did my high school and everything there. Lot of friends, a lot of work, a lot of experiences. I moved up here for a relationship, which was a big one for me because that was like a shot in the dark at all times. But I moved up here for that, and I didn't know anybody other than that one person. I mean, I met a few, but like nothing concrete. Like I had the security blanket I have at home.
Yeah.
So it was a little different. So when I moved here and I did that, I started working at Seven Devils, met a lot of great people, a lot of opportunities. Carmen was my first haircut. Wasn't in a shop. I was cutting out of my house. I have a mobile kit. I was like pulling people, randoms for the bar. I mean, I don't condone going to a Red Lion and cutting some dude that you just met as a traveler. But great conversation, really awesome guy. I got about 30 minutes to an hour with this guy every week before I was like, all right. I was like, hey man, I cut hair. And he's all, really? You come to my spot and give me? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. I went in there, cut his hair, and he'd come back every week, come get dinner, and he'd book an appointment with me. And I'd go to the spot and I cut his hair right in the room. And then more people started hearing that. So I started cutting more people's hair from there. And, I was wandering around and I was like, I need to get in the shop. Like, I need to do what I need to do. And I finally got out of the room, stopped working full time over there, and I stumbled upon this place. I went around to other barbershops around here, and nobody would take the time to talk to me. Not one. Never got a call back, never nothing. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to go to a salon.
Yeah.
No guys. Salon. I'm like, okay. Rolled in, big smile from one of the girls. Hey, how you doing? I was like, hey, I'm not here for a haircut, just looking to like kind of work. Like, I'm like, I'm a barber. And she's like, oh my God, please come in. Pulled me in immediately. Megan, the owner, she pulled me to the back. We had a conversation right in these two chairs. And she's all, see you tomorrow.
Just like that.
Just like that. And I've been here since. December was my first starting midway through, and I've been crushing it just about every day since. I mean, I had no following, so I was like outside with the sign. I've been posting.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. When I was at the bar, I was, hey, check it out. Come get a cut. And like everybody's pretty established. Like, you don't cheat on your barber, ever.
Yeah.
I don't condone it. Like if you got one, good, stick with them. But give me one shot.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, and I started filling up. And I want to try and I want everybody. Just like I said, I want to be friends with everybody.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I got time. My hours were from like, I'll work from like 10 to 2, 10 to 3, whatever. I had to open it up. Got bigger. Now I'm 8 to 8.
Yeah.
I ain't got time to go home and make a bowl of cereal.
Yeah.
Like I'm tired. I'm way too tired. I'm like midway to my mouth, chilling. So, and now I'm traveling. So like, I got picked up real quick. I go home and someone's all, hey, come work at the shop. And I was like, I'm already up here. There's a lot of traveling. And they're like, well, come down. And I was all right. So now I get to split it up and be in a barbershop where I like to, I originally wanted to be, but I also get, this is my like day one for everything. So it's like, I was like, I'm staying loyal. And I got my people here, and I love my people here, and I don't want to give them up. So I want to be here and do what I can for the days that I have and the time that I'm available.
Mm-hmm.
If I got to stay late, I will. If I'm here, I'll cut you. If you can wait 5 minutes for the next cut, I'll cut you. Like whatever you need. Like I'm doing what I can. But I love it. Yeah. Even if I'm tired. Like I'm like, right on. I can rest when I get home. Like. I mean, shoot, that's how I met you. You were like skeptical at one point. You're like, oh, let's try this. I finally got you to the haircut you want. It took about 6 or 7, but we got there. Like it took, but you had to trust me.
Right.
You had to trust like
That's true.
the initial, like, all right, give me one. This is what I get, and I'm like, this don't look like it looks good, but it's not like what I know that you can do. I know your full potential. I can see it, but you got to trust me enough, and the trust came to the friendship. We went from clients to friends,
and it was so easy at that
Exactly.
point too. It was like
Comes
almost
natural.
right away, right after that one. Like,
Right.
Like you said, it just opened it up, and I'm like, no, man. Like,
I'm probably friends with you before you're friends with me.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's hang out. Like, I'm like, dude, half the guys I cut here, I'm hanging out with them all the time.
Right.
If I see you out and I'm by myself and you want to come hang out with me, I'm like, heck yeah, dude. Like, let's have a drink. Let's have a beer. Like, whatever.
Yeah.
Come over, have a barbecue. Like,
yeah.
And, like, that's where you, like, and that's been with everything I've done. Shoot, even out on fires, bro. I was like, sharing bunks with dudes I never even knew, chilling. And next thing you know, like, we're best buddies. Like, and they live halfway across the United States. They flew in. Right. I got dudes that don't even speak English that I'm like good with that I still talk to, like all over. So like, it just goes to show that like, just being personable and like natural and light can take you anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that. Just allowing.
Yeah.
Allowing life. That's one thing. Just being open to it.
Yeah.
But one thing I noticed with you. So even now that you're here, like number one, you're not just like, hey, like you said, like 9 to 5. 9 to 5 on Monday through Friday. Come get your cuts.
Yeah, I'm here till the door's closed and nobody's sitting in the waiting room.
Yeah.
Like this is my time.
We're here on a weekend. It's like you get dialed in and somebody wants to get cut. It's like you're finding a spot.
Yeah.
You're finding a spot for it.
We'll figure it out.
But another thing is like, I feel like you're always trying to continue to master your craft. It's not like you just went to school once and then you're like, okay, I know everything I need to know. Let's get it done.
What it is, I think, I'm continuously tuning.
Yeah.
Because I was not always like this. Mm-hmm. You know, I grew up pretty tough. I've seen a lot of like unfortunate things I've experienced, like deaths and like relationships with people I probably should have had in my life a lot longer. I've lost opportunities from doing terrible things because of stupid habits, or you know, like I mean, I'm a bartender. You know, like I used to not like put them down. I'm actually 35 days completely sober of everything right now. So like that's cool. Like I feel way better. Granted, you know, it's 35 days, whatever, but that's big for me because it's been like just being here, I've hit it hard.
Yeah.
And you could probably see that on my socials and whatever. Like I've got it all out there. It's funny to watch. It's like, ha. But like I went through a lot when I was younger. Like didn't grow up with a whole lot. Watched my mom take care of me and my sister the best she could, working multiple jobs. That's probably why I work so much.
Yeah.
Like being totally selfless. My mom would always be tough, be the rock. And I'm little and I'm like, you know, I want this, I want that. And it may not have gotten it right away, but I got it at some point. You know, like, so like for me, making it happen when I can, if I can, that's another thing that's influenced. But like losing people, that's difficult. So like when I make a relationship with somebody, I'm trying to hold on.
Yeah.
Like I love it. I love knowing that I got you in my life and like I can do something for you and make you feel good, and like it's probably going to be returned at some point.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been like kept somebody that I like didn't have a positive effect in my life too. Like I know if you're not good for me, I know to cut it off. I've learned that like early on in life too. Like if it's not good for me, I probably shouldn't have it.
Yeah.
I'm learning that with drinking and those things, and learning to moderate. But yeah, I mean, a lot of my early life has huge influence right now. I am not always at my top, like how you see me. Mm-hmm. I have really, really bad days. Whether that's bipolar or whatever the hell doctors can tell me what I need, I don't take medication. I'm all about getting it done naturally. Like if it's not like of me, it shouldn't be in me. Like I can fix it. It's a mental thing. It's whatever. Talk it out, feel it out, whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, where I started and then to now, it all came from really, really tough moments in my life. but now I have a lot of really, really great ones that I continue to have in my life.
Yeah.
With a hiccup here or there. But
Right.
like you said, people aren't perfect.
Yeah.
But you can always tune it. You can always make it a little better. So that's kind of what I see there. Maybe I can make somebody a little better. Tune it up.
Yeah.
So
I like that analogy. That's
Yeah.
good. Because it is. I mean, life is you're constantly trying to fine tune your experience. I mean, there's so many
we can always make something better.
inputs, and a lot of them that we don't control from when we're younger, like you said.
Yeah.
I think we all have a story
Yeah.
and a lot of things that maybe some things people don't even remember, or that will eventually surface themselves, or things that we remember that impacted us more than we even realize that they impacted us in our daily lives that we have now. We just say, oh yeah, that happened a long time ago, but then we find some way to adapt to it now.
Well, dude, you sit in that chair with me and you start to get comfortable, right? You start to decompress from your day, right? And I'm in there, I'm like, hey man, how are you? Like, it all starts with the how are you? Like, how you doing? How was your day?
Yeah.
I guarantee you, in that moment, you start talking, you start being in control, I start giving light to you. You're talking to me now, I'm not even talking, I'm just listening. You're just you're spilling your guts. I'm hearing things I don't want to hear. Like there's some moments where I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
I know, you sure your wife wants me to hear that?
Yeah.
That was the same thing at the bar. I just let you talk because sometimes you don't get to talk.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes all you got to do is yourself.
Right.
So having somebody listen, like, that's the tuning. That's like, I'm not giving you an answer. I'm giving you like a moment. Sometimes y'all need just a moment.
Yeah.
And like, I don't think I was allowed a lot of those, which is why I strive to like be that people person, because like I'm tuning me through an experience with you. Yeah. Like I'm learning. You don't even know you're fixing me right now.
Right.
So
when you say that you weren't allowed a lot of those, do you want to elaborate on any of that?
Well, I've done therapy when I was really young, and I thought it was just a crock. I'm like, after everything, I was like, they're trying to prescribe you something, and I'm like, you're not really like giving me an answer. You can't fix my life. You can't change what's happened. The only thing I can do is like continue to live it.
Yeah.
And it's my choice at that point to fix it or continue on my downfall. So, I mean, I don't know. It's like talking to people's kind of hard after a while. It's like almost like with the therapist is routine. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Life has routine, but life is not routine.
Yeah.
How fitting that that's where the audio would cut out on us. That life is not routine, because it really isn't. You never know what's going to happen. We go into uncertainty, and we go into a lot more of a story, but the way that we see it, what was recorded is what needed to be heard. And we're going to continue our conversation. We're going to dive a little bit deeper just into a little bit of the story, into a little bit of the history, and what got him to where he is now, what got him the mindset, a little bit more of the philosophies. So I appreciate each and every one of you for following along. This is a journey. This has been a journey and will continue to be a journey. So thank you so much to everybody for watching. Be blessed, and remember that you are extraordinary. See you next time.
It's time to be the power, time to be the change. I'ma light the torch, I'ma carry the flame, and we can be the spark of a trail blazing. It starts right here, it starts right now. It starts with me from the inside out, 'cause we can be the spark of